Shadow was actually the first unit I ever pulled from Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. Leah doesn't count. So as you might guess, I have a lot of nostalgia. Yeah, right, you think I knew how to play this game when I was a beginner? Shadow wasn't even that good. I don't even know who Shadow is. So anyways. Alright, who is Assassin Shadow? Well, first off, he has a dog, so he's essentially S tier in my book. He also has a bunch of useful abilities like throw, hide, and smoke. So as you might guess, everyone lost their minds when this guy was first released. Well, let's see what Neo Vision gives him. He doesn't get a second dog, so my day is ruined. He does, however, get some Smoky Mist, which can be used twice. It lowers the enemy's physical accuracy by 25%, which can be useful if you have nothing else to cast. Submerge in Shadow will increase Assassin Shadow's accuracy and decrease the enemy's resistance to katana weapons. Jamming Blade is a Stardust Ray Brave ability that can inflict an 80% full break. Shadow Stab lets Shadow's katanas deal big damage to break bars. He also gets a triple cast. As for passives, he gets a bonus human killer. Now to change forms. His Brave Shift is available right from the start. It doesn't have a turn duration, though it does have a 2-turn cooldown. Onto his active abilities. Enticing Blade is a Brave ability that gives Shadow a provoke buff and mitigates attacks dealt by human enemies by 50%. The rest of his active abilities are Grandest abilities. Each one can be used up to twice per battle. The ones that chain with Stardust Ray hit one enemy, while the ones that chain with Oreo Ray can hit multiple enemies. Mighty Shuriken is a powerful attack, though it doesn't do anything special. Chaotic Shuriken hits multiple enemies. Tempering Shuriken deals damage and boosts Shadow's attack by 300%. Shadow Step Shuriken does the same thing, though it hits multiple enemies. Diamond Shuriken is literally the same as Mighty Shuriken. Dancing Shuriken is literally the same as Chaotic Shuriken. With that headache aside, onto his passives. If he dual wields, he'll increase the chain modifier cap. He also has an incredible amount of physical evasion built in, though it's on a Brave ability, so you'll have to upgrade it to get it to that point. He still retains his human killer, though he can boost it further by giving him his Trustmaster reward or Super Trustmaster reward. Finally, he has some wind and dark elemental resistance. Onto his Limit Burst. It deals dark damage and grants him a human killer. So, Brave abilities. I recommend raising Jamming Blade for the breaks, Assassin Step for the physical evasion, Ultimate Assassin's Blade to increase some damage modifiers, Enticing Blade for a boosted mitigation buff against humans, and then Shadow Stab if you really want it. Let's make a damage rotation. I'll be using him as a dark damage dealer. First, let's get some buffs up with Secret Art of Darkness, Shadow Dart, and Jamming Blade. On turn 2, we'll switch forms. Cast Tempering Shuriken, Diamond Shuriken, and Mighty Shuriken. You can go ahead and use up all his grandest abilities from this point forward, as they are his strongest attacks. Once they're all out, revert back, recast his buffs, cast Takedown, and then just spam Wild Fang if you've upgraded Ultimate Assassin's Blade to its peak. So, how good is Assassin Shadow? First off, his damage output is incredibly unimpressive, especially compared to Archmage Kefka and Neo Vision Terra. However, he's able to provide some breaks, lower the enemy's accuracy, and decrease their katana resistance. His Brave Shift has some incredible potential to serve as a physical evasion tank, and with his high amount of built-in physical evasion, you don't have to sacrifice too much damage for it. But at the same time, his strongest attacks are Grandest abilities, and while that's not a problem if you can beat the enemy with it, you definitely see a decrease in damage once you're all out of attacks. His base form doesn't have the same amount of potential as a pure damage dealer or a physical evasion tank. To make matters worse, he competes with a stronger breaker that shares the same chaining families. While he does have Smoky Mist and Submerged in Shadow, by the time they become relevant, we'll probably have some new units that can outclass him in that regard. But on the other hand, he does have a dog.